Hey gamers, it's Aksu in here. Today I wanted to talk about the parry mechanic in Clair Obscure Expedition 33.
Interesting.
While this video has no direct story spoilers, I do show story characters in combat. I think my opening message would be, I really do believe you can learn to parry. Just as background, I did complete the entire story. I did that in expert mode on my first playthrough, and I only used parries. I used no normal dodges. So parrying is a really awesome part of this game. When properly executed, parries allow you to both avoid damage, just like a dodge, but also gain a powerful counterattack during your enemy's turn, so that can really increase your overall damage throughout the course of a fight. You will find that the parry timing can feel pretty tight, while the dodge timing is much more forgiving. I have to say, keep practicing. For me, parrying was the most engaging and rewarding part of combat in this game. At first, parrying can feel frustrating and sometimes unachievable. The attacks might be coming in fast and furious, and at other times they're coming in slow, and it's building this tension of, oh, when do I parry? And when you finally do parry, it's not connecting, and instead you're getting blasted and you're just dying. For me, I take this challenge as like throwing down the gauntlet and saying, alright, this is a problem to solve, this is something I can conquer. And then when you're able to accomplish those parries, man, it feels really good. It's a lot of fun. A key thing for learning the parries in this game is identifying the hints. The developers have given most, if not all mobs, key tells or timing cues to assist with our parry timing. Probably the most important thing for me in learning how to parry was to try to figure out what's the trigger that I would react to then parry, rather than trying to predict when to parry. Predicting for me would be looking at the sword swinging and trying to figure out when is it going to hit my face. This kind of increasing tension, like it's getting closer and closer and closer, and then at that time I'm going to predict when my parry needs to happen. But for me, I'd rather say, when does the sword start to move? That's what I'm reacting to create a parry. For me, I really benefit from having something concretely happen and then me reacting to it, rather than the threat of something about to happen and me trying to prevent it from happening. I do recognize that this type of parrying where I'm saying I'm reacting to something does require pretty fast reflexes though. So what timing clues did the developers build into their game? Well, there's audio tells, there's visual tells, and in other cases I think they boil down to timing where it's kind of a cadence or a pattern. First of all, the audio tell. Audio tells are very strong in this game. During the attack animation, you can hear this little ting or audio marker. So you'll see the movement and you'll hear the movement of the swoosh, but at one point through the weapon movement, you'll hear a little ting, and that ting is a good time to react and now do your parry. If you're really struggling to parry an attack type that you know does have an audio cue, it can even help to close your eyes. Seriously, I've done this on a few mobs. You close your eyes and you listen for the ting, or you listen for that little indicator, and then you hit your parry button, and you might be surprised at how often you actually get the parry correct. Audio timings can be as simple as a little ting sound, which says here's the time when you parry. At other times it can be where the audio breaks, so it might be building up, and then right at the peak of that, boom, that's when you parry. The second large category, of course, are visual tells, where some graphic on the screen, something about the animation tells you when you should parry. I've found that there are some attack types where it's much more effective to look for the visual tell versus an audio tell. It could be a flash, or maybe a distortion, or maybe a glow. There's a number of different visual tells that you can uncover once you're attuned to watching for them. And then the third category I had was where you're trying to identify a pattern. This is important because some attacks, especially ones where it's a lot of attacks in really rapid succession or really quickly, you may not have time to react to each individual attack, but instead you're learning that there's a cadence or a sequence that those attacks come in. So in that case, I feel like I'm learning more of the timing instead of listening for each attack individually. And just a note that when you're learning the pattern of especially complicated or fast attacks, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cadence is perfectly regular. Sometimes the developers will put a little curveball in on one of the attacks having a slight delay, so that can be very challenging, but you do learn those too. One thing I find to be pretty encouraging about the game and its design is that as you parry more and more, even on new mobs, sometimes your brain just reacts to an audio cue that sounds familiar, and you end up parrying at the right time. So it's pretty cool how you actually develop an intuition about parrying based on some of those reactions that you've built up through practice. Please help me bring attention to this video by hitting the like button and leaving a comment to let me know what details you found to be the most helpful or interesting. You can also help this channel by subscribing, and I really do appreciate your support.
Good stuff.
If you're interested in live content, please follow me on Twitch where I stream games weekly. Thank you so much. I think the design of the fight with the Stalact is a great example of mixing both audio and visual cues together. During its combo attack, you see its body glowing brighter, and then you can hear the indicator that signals the attack is about to land. I like to use the glowing body to let me know I'm about to counter, and then as soon as I hear that indicator, I hit my parry. In my next video, I'll group mob attacks into different types. Sometimes your approach will depend on the type of attack you're trying to parry.
Well, that will help.